Good morning, you are watching A News. I'm Katie Wilson, here are the top stories. 3 years of the Russia-Ukraine war, with thousands of lives lost, millions displaced and no clear path to peace. Germany's Conservatives have won the election, positioning CDU leader Friedrich Merz as the likely next Chancellor. An American Airlines flight from New York to New Delhi was diverted to Rome due to a security threat. As Ukraine marks 3 years since the start of the full-scale war with Russia, the toll of the conflict continues to grow, with thousands of lives lost, millions displaced and no clear path to peace. The war remains one of the most significant crises in modern Europe.
Light beams lit up the night sky above Lychakiv Cemetery in the western city of Lviv as hundreds of people gathered to honour the victims of Ukraine's ongoing war with Russia. The large-scale installation, known as Lights of Memory, marked the third anniversary of the conflict and paid tribute to fallen soldiers.
The most important task is to preserve people because people are the biggest value. And we are losing people now. Territories will be ours, I believe in that. The time will come for this.
Every year I've got less and less hope that we will return these territories within our border declared in 1991. With every passing day, we lose hope and faith. Given what is going on with the US support and European support, we are losing faith.
The sombre display served as a poignant reminder of the human toll the war has taken as Ukraine continues to grapple with the devastating impact of the prolonged conflict. On February 24, 2022, Russian forces launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine, crossing its borders from multiple directions, including from Belarus, which allowed Russia to stage part of the invasion from its territory. Since the war started, Ukrainian officials report over 45,000 military deaths and around 390,000 injuries. Civilian casualties are also high, with thousands killed and millions displaced by the ongoing violence. Estimates suggest that Russian casualties are likely higher than those officially reported by Moscow, indicating heavy losses on both sides. In response to the invasion, international efforts have included extensive sanctions against Russia and military aid to Ukraine from NATO, the European Union, and countries like the United States. This support aims to strengthen Ukraine's defence capabilities and deter further Russian advances. Diplomatic attempts to reach a peace deal have largely stalled, with Ukraine demanding the full restoration of its territorial integrity, including Crimea and the occupied eastern regions. Russia maintains control over significant areas, and there is little sign of an immediate resolution to the conflict. Military operations continue in key regions, and shifting international support, particularly from the US and Europe, adds complexity to Ukraine's military situation. The future remains uncertain, with ongoing discussions about potential peace negotiations and military developments.
Russian President Vladimir Putin has reaffirmed his commitment to strengthening the military. Putin stated the need for troops in Ukraine is a top priority for Russia's long-term defence objectives. This message was delivered on Russia's annual Defender of the Fatherland Day. With Russia's defence strategy remaining steadfast, the Russian leader pledged to enhance the combat potential of the army and navy by utilising modern weapons. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky held a major press conference on Sunday to summarise the frontline situation. At the Conservative Political Action Conference, US President Donald Trump emphasised his approach to the ongoing war in Ukraine, highlighting the US financial involvement in his efforts to recoup military aid.
During a speech at a conservative gathering in National Harbor, Maryland, US President Donald Trump shared that the United States is negotiating with Ukraine to secure financial returns on the billions spent on military support. He criticized the previous administration's handling of the situation, pointing out that while Europe received loans for their assistance, the US provided direct aid without expecting repayment. Trump expressed confidence that a resolution to the conflict is possible, stating he's been in talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. He also noted his administration's ongoing efforts to tackle government waste and fraud. According to Trump, the United States is close to an agreement with Ukraine on sharing revenue from Ukrainian minerals as part of efforts to end the war in Ukraine.
So we're getting our money back. We're going to get our money back because it's not fair. It's just not fair. And we will see. But I think we're pretty close to a deal, and we better be close to a deal.
He said the United States is asking for rare earth minerals and oil. Trump's speech focused on securing a deal that could help the U.S. recover its financial contributions and bring the conflict in Ukraine to an end.
The Trump administration faces a packed foreign policy agenda, but one critical region often overlooked is Central Asia. At the heart of this region lies the Caspian Sea, rich in energy resources and geopolitical importance.
The Caspian Sea region is a global energy powerhouse, home to vast reserves of oil and natural gas, according to an article published by the Hudson Institute. Despite its strategic significance, US engagement in Central Asia has been inconsistent. The Caspian Sea, bordered by Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, Russia and Iran, is a crucial geopolitical and economic hub, offering vast energy resources and serving as a key transit corridor for Eurasian commerce. Experts suggest that the US should prioritize energy cooperation in Central Asia to strengthen global supply chains and reduce European reliance on Russian energy. One key project, the Trans-Caspian gas pipeline, could be a game changer, linking Turkmenistan's natural gas reserves to European markets. By facilitating alternative energy routes, the US can help Caspian nations reduce their dependence on Russia and China while enhancing global energy security. As the Trump administration shapes its foreign policy, energy and trade cooperation with Central Asia could play a pivotal role in strengthening regional stability. If Washington aims to compete effectively in an era of great power rivalry, it cannot afford to neglect this crucial region, as the article highlights.
Germany's opposition Conservatives have won the national election, positioning the Christian Democratic Union Party leader Friedrich Merz as the likely next chancellor. Meanwhile, the far-right Alternative for Germany made historic gains, securing second place and reshaping the country's political landscape.
Germany's opposition conservative bloc, the Christian Democratic Union, emerged victorious in Sunday's national election, securing nearly 30% of the vote. With this result, CDU leader Friedrich Merz is set to become Germany's next chancellor. Addressing supporters in Berlin, Merz pledged to form a stable and effective government.
But now we're going to talk to each other, and the main thing is to create a government in Germany that can act as quickly as possible with a good parliamentary majority. Because, dear friends, the world out there is not waiting for us.
Meanwhile, the far-right Alternative for Germany made unprecedented gains, finishing in second place with nearly 20% of the votes, nearly doubling its previous election results.
We have gained 100%, and that is something you have to achieve in the first place. We are now the political middle, and you can see who is on the outskirts behind us. The parties we have overtaken.
Despite its surge, the AfD remains politically isolated. All major parties have ruled out forming a coalition with them. However, AfD leaders claim the election signals a shift in public sentiment on key issues such as migration and economic policies.
The issues are talking points about migration and the economy. These are the issues people want to have solved. What people voted for is a shift in the political direction of Germany.
However, the election dealt a severe blow to Chancellor Olaf Scholz's Social Democratic Party, which suffered its worst results since World War II, earning only 16.2% of the vote. Defense Minister Boris Pistorius called the outcome catastrophic. As coalition negotiations begin, Germany faces a complex political landscape. The CDU, together with the Christian Social Union of Bavaria, will seek partners to secure a parliamentary majority. But divisions remain over key issues such as migration, economic policy, and Germany's role in Europe. The coming weeks will determine whether Merz can swiftly form a government, or if prolonged negotiations will delay Germany's next administration.
Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban has escalated criticism of the use of US aid funds, calling it a tool of a liberal globalist empire that threatens national sovereignty. Orban praised Donald Trump for reducing US aid operations and vowed to prevent similar influences in Europe. Under Trump's America First policy, most US aid staff were put on leave and 1,600 jobs were cut, halting many foreign aid programs and alarming international organizations.
USAID was the heart of a robust financial and power machine. A monster created to crush, crumble, and erode the freedom and independence of nations so that the liberal globalist empire could thrive. President Donald Trump drove a stake through the heart of the empire. Now it's our turn in Europe to finish the job.
Thousands of Bulgarians protested in Sofia against the country's plan to adopt the euro. The demonstration, led by the Revival Party, escalated near the European Union Mission building.
The protest took place in Sofia, organised by the Nationalist Revival Party, which opposes Bulgaria's switch from the lev to the euro. The demonstrators fear that adopting the euro will lead to price hikes, similar to what happened in Croatia last year. The rally began in front of Bulgaria's central bank before moving towards the EU mission. Some protesters threw red paint, firecrackers and Molotov cocktails, briefly setting the front door on fire before police intervened. Authorities say around 10 officers sustained minor injuries and 6 people were detained. The government condemned the incident, calling attacks on institutions unacceptable and against the rule of law.
We don't want Bulgarian financial independence to be destroyed. We want to keep the Bulgarian lev. At this moment, we're facing a simple choice: freedom or euro. There is no other choice. We are here to defend our freedom.
Bulgaria's government, which took office last month, has reaffirmed its commitment to adopting the euro next year, despite ongoing public debate.
Thousands of Serbian students are taking to the streets in one of the largest protests the government has faced in recent years. They are demanding justice for a tragic railway disaster and calling for an end to corruption. Demonstrations are continuing across large-scale protests.
In Serbia, thousands of people flooded the streets and began their 90-kilometre march from Zrenjanin. Various sectors, including teachers, farmers and workers, have joined the movement, rallied against corruption and demanded change in the Balkan nation. Demonstrators are calling for accountability for the Novi Sad train station collapse 3 months ago, which killed 15 people. Many Serbians blame government for the tragedy.
The message is that we are free thinkers, that we have the right to shape the country we live in. We don't live under them, we live with them. They are not above us, and they never will be, as long as we stand together, unafraid. As long as fear is extinguished, we can achieve this, and I believe we will push through.
The message is unity, and we've already accomplished that. In every village we passed through, we were welcomed with open arms. These people gave us the energy to keep going.
Despite the growing unrest, the Serbian government has dismissed allegations of corruption and pledged to launch an anti-corruption campaign.
Syria's new authorities will hold a national dialogue conference starting on February 25th to discuss a new path for the nation after the overthrow of former leader Bashar al-Assad. Holding the conference has been a key pledge of the Hayat Tahrir al-Sham group, which took control of Damascus in December 2024. About 4,000 people across Syria have been consulted to gather views that would help shape the constitutional declaration. The conference is scheduled for 2 days and a new government is expected to be formed next month. The death toll has risen to 8, with 80 others injured in Peru after the roof of a food court collapsed at a shopping centre in the northern part of the country on Friday night. The section that caved in fell on a restaurant, children's amusement park and cinemas. Peru's president has expressed her condolences to the victims' families. According to authorities, part of the roof remains intact but is at risk of further collapse. An American Airlines flight from New York to New Delhi was diverted to Rome due to a security threat. A senior official told ABC News that a bomb threat was received via email. However, it was later determined to be unfounded. It was turned around over the Caspian Sea on Sunday, according to reports. 2 Italian military fighter jets flanked the plane as it arrived at Rome's airport. The passengers on board and the aircraft itself underwent thorough security checks before being cleared to continue on to New Delhi. Pope Francis remains in a critical condition, battling double pneumonia and facing a slight kidney issue, according to the Vatican. The 88-year-old pontiff continues to struggle after a respiratory crisis that required blood transfusions, with his prognosis still uncertain. Catholics around the world held special services, including in Kenya, Argentina and the Philippines, to pray for the Pope's recovery. Outside Rome's Gemelli Hospital, people not only prayed for him, but also left flowers and candles at the memorial of Pope John Paul II. Pope Francis, who has been in poor health over the past 2 years, is especially vulnerable to lung infections due to pleurisy and the removal of one part of his lung in his youth. China's private businesses are turning to artificial intelligence and the low-altitude economy to cut costs and boost efficiency. From retail to manufacturing, companies are investing in new technologies to stay competitive.
The rapid advancements in AI are transforming China's private sector. With AI applications becoming more affordable, companies are using the technology to streamline operations and reduce labour costs.
Of course, I'd like to fully embrace AI. We have already laid a solid foundation in utilising AI technology for clearing goods, both online and offline, managing inventory and forecasting orders. Large language models have made significant breakthroughs in managing the entire supply chain, including nighttime sales and eliminating the need for night shift personnel.
Beyond AI, private companies are investing in the low-altitude economy. Businesses like Zal Holding Co. are developing light aircraft and airships, with production expected to start in 2025. At the same time, manufacturing firms are expanding globally, targeting markets in Southeast Asia, South Asia, the Middle East and Africa.
Southeast Asia, South Asia, the Middle East and Africa are all growth markets. Going overseas requires achieving synergy within the industrial chain and forming complementary, coordinated development with the industries of host countries. We should explore overseas markets through collaboration, leveraging each other's strengths for mutual benefit.
China's private sector continues to evolve, using innovation and international expansion to drive future growth.
We're done for now, but don't go far. Stay tuned for more and have a wonderful morning.